in the next 48 hours, it is about to go down. Apple and Tesla stock are both reporting earnings over the next 48 hours. So what I want to go through here with you guys here today are Apple's expected numbers, okay, that analysts are expecting. Then we'll go through Tesla's expected numbers. Then I'm going to give you my opinion on if these companies can beat these earnings. If so, why? If they're going to miss, why? And I also want to get into, am I going to buy more shares if these stocks go down or sell off if they go up a bunch, and all those type of things. If you don't already know, Apple is by far and away my wife's biggest position in her account. I think her cost base is somewhere around 160, 170. And then I just bought around $18,000 of Tesla stock. Is kind of like my spec stock. I'm playing for the next 5 to 10 years. So important stocks to us. And honestly, Apple is a company that almost every single person is affected by, okay? Apple's weight on the markets, if Apple moves down in a big way, a lot of times the entire market will move down. A lot of times if Apple moves up, it can help boost the whole market. Also, if you own a mutual fund, if you have a 401k or something like that, there's a good chance Apple shares are in there, okay? Or you might own Apple shares directly, or you might even own a semiconductor supplier whose biggest customer is probably Apple, guys. So a very, very important company. So we're gonna get into all this. We'll do Apple first, then we'll do Tesla, then we'll do my opinion on these two companies if they're gonna miss or beat and those type of things, okay? So Apple, revenue is expected to be $52.3 billion for the quarter. That would be up around 15% year over year, okay? Which is pretty nice growth, okay? That's pretty nice growth there for Apple, 15+% growth. How big this company already is to be growing like that is nice. Where it really gets impressive is EPS, okay? So analysts are expecting the company to do $2.18. That's versus last year they did $1.67. This is a massive, massive raise up. This is a 30% plus number year over year, okay? Analysts are expecting their EPS to go up over 30% year over year, guys. That's a massive, massive move there, okay? So we'll definitely have to talk about that number if that's beatable there, okay? The revenue guidance is always going to be very important for Apple, okay? That's always one of the most talked about things in regards to Apple. Analysts are expecting somewhere around $59.5 billion of revenue guidance. Last year they did 52.5, so that would be up around 13% year over year there. As far as iPhone units, this is always the number that's probably talked about more than anything, even more than EPS or revenue. iPhone units, analysts aren't expecting crap for this past quarter, okay? They only are expecting around 1% growth year over year in iPhone units, okay? So this is probably the lowest bar I've seen Apple have in a long, long time in regards to iPhone units. They aren't expecting anything, a 1% rise there. Now, this is not an analyst thing. This is just something I want to bring you guys' attention to. Apple needs less than a 10% move up in stock price. I think it's around a 7% or 8% rise from today's valuation to be the first public company in history to hit a $1 trillion market cap, okay? So tomorrow night, if Apple reports some really good numbers and that stock starts moving up, man, all it's gonna need is, I think it's around a 7 or 8% gain, basically, to hit a $1 trillion market cap, which would be just a cool thing for the stock market, because there's never, ever been a public company that has hit a $1 trillion valuation. It would be pretty neat, guys. Just for the stock market overall. So those are the Apple expected numbers. Now we're going to get into Tesla, and then we'll get into my opinion on both of these stocks. Alrighty, guys, now I want to get into what is expected from Tesla, and also what some questions our analysts are probably going to ask on that conference call. And then we'll get into my opinion on both these stocks, if I'm going to buy more, sell off after the earnings, and kind of like if they can beat numbers and whatnot. So Tesla is expected to do revenue of around $4 billion. That's versus a year ago they did around $2.8 billion, all right? That's up 42% year over year, okay? A big, big number, but Tesla's in major growth mode right now. 42% revenue growth year over year. EPS is expected to get much uglier year over year. So this quarter they're expected to do negative $2.81 per share versus the same time last year they did $1.33 a year ago. Why is that? Because they're ramping Model 3. It's a very costly thing to do, okay? Whenever you ramp a vehicle like this, and especially in the scale Tesla's doing it, it's a very, very costly proposition. Plus they're gonna have some employment restructuring going on because they laid off a lot of employees, especially of some of their solar divisions and things like that, that they felt like were kind of, jobs just, they didn't need and whatnot. So a lot of those charges are going into this quarter, something to keep in mind there. Now, next quarter, analysts are expecting 88% revenue growth year over year. Yes, you heard me right. 88% revenue growth is expected year over year in the next quarter, okay? So that'll be very, very interesting to hear what, Tesla has for guidance around that revenue number for next quarter, because that is huge, guys. That is absolutely huge, all right? So 3 questions I think analysts are going to kind of ask in this conference call. One is Model 3 ramp and what's the demand? So a lot of talk about is demand falling for Model 3, and can they really ramp over 5,000 vehicles? We've seen them get up to 5,000 vehicles. Can they get up to a 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, maybe even a 10,000 number there? And once again, the demand, like that's been a big focus from some of the short sellers out there. Is there as much demand? It's 1 minute they're trying to point the finger at they can't produce enough cars, and next minute they're trying to point the finger at the company doesn't have demand or something like that. It's pretty funny. So it'll be very important to hear what management has to say about that. This is even a more important question, my personal opinion. How is a China and Europe factory going to get paid, okay? How are these factories, these are going to be billion-dollar plus projects, okay? Probably multi-billion-dollar projects. So one in China and the one in Europe. What does management have to say about this, okay? The China one's already been announced, and the Europe one could probably be announced within the next few months. So what does management have to say about this? Like, who's going to pay for this, okay? We know Tesla doesn't have much money left on that balance sheet, and the way they've been losing money, like they can't go down to zero, okay? So they're going to either need to raise debt, they're going to need to do a capital raise of some kind where they issue some more stock. Maybe they do joint venture where somebody else builds it, and Tesla just leases that factory from them. We don't know what the situation is, but it's going to be very important. I really hope analysts kind of ask that question and dig in there, because how are these factories, both of them are going to be multi-billion-dollar factories. Who's going to pay for this, okay? And maybe there's a wild card that Tesla's just going to become unbelievably profitable overnight, which I don't know if that's really going to play out that way. But if that happens, I mean, maybe they could pay for it cash. But man, it's pretty unrealistic. Okay. And also the other question is, when will energy scale? So energy, so much focus around Tesla has just been on the cars, the Model 3. Okay, that's been the whole focus going on right now. And that's where, the bulls and the bears, honestly, most of the time spend their time, focusing. This could mess up everybody's numbers out there, okay? Bulls and bears, energy. This is a big wild card out there, okay? If energy starts to scale in a major way, they have a lot of pent-up demand, but they haven't really even been trying to sell that aggressively. They went out of the Home Depot stores mainly because they already had so much demand, they weren't doing enough supply. Management only has so much time. They only have so much money to go around right now, okay? So they've been focusing on the car side of the business, but when is energy going to scale in a major way? I think that's a big question, because going into 2019, if energy scales in a major way, that revenue growth could get accelerated in a massive way. It just depends on if Tesla has the money to fund that and have the resources to fund that, whole energy side of their business to really get that ramping. And my goodness, if they can really get that ramping, plus you have the Model 3 ramped, and let's say they get to a place where they're doing 8,000 to 10,000 Model 3s per week, we're talking about it could be a crazy year in 2019, okay? So that's what is expected from Tesla analysts, and that's also the questions I expect analysts to really, drive into during the conference call. Now let's get into Apple and Tesla. Do I think they're going to beat? Am I going to sell? Am I going to buy? Anything like that? Alrighty guys, now for the fun part, to get into what I expect from these companies and if I will be buying more, selling off, or any of those things after this quarter, okay? So first off, let's talk about Apple. I think Apple's numbers are very beatable, okay? Why did I forget the Y in very? I think Apple's numbers are very beatable. Here's why, okay? 15% revenue growth is expected for this past quarter, 30% EPS growth. Why are those numbers beatable? Well, 2 reasons, okay? One is ASPs on iPhone have exploded. They're well over $100 more expensive than the previous year, okay? So that is a big factor. If they can just keep iPhones around the same or get that 1% raise that analysts are expected, the revenue is going to explode there. The EPS, the profitability of those phones is much higher because they're a bigger dollar amount, okay? And the margins are somewhat similar. So needless to say, it's pretty beatable. Then on top of that, services just grew in the last quarter over 30%. If services can grow, 25 to 30%, that's massive for this company because those numbers are starting to get really big in services now. That's actually their second biggest business going forward, okay? And they're buying back massive amounts of shares on top of all this, okay? Which helps the EPS dramatically. So when you factor in all those things, I think revenue and EPS are definitely very beatable numbers. I think there's a good chance they could beat with an impressive beat on both of those lines. We'll just have to see, okay? This quarter and next quarter are the last super impressive quarters, in my opinion, in terms of revenue growth and DPS growth, especially in terms of revenue growth. Why? Well, basically, the iPhone 10 will start to lap, okay, that $1,000 iPhone, that's going to start to lap into next year now. And also the services, I expect some deceleration into 2019 of services revenue, okay? This 30% clip that, they've been doing and whatnot, I do not think that's sustainable over the long term. I think a 20% or somewhere around there is probably sustainable at least over the next year, but this 30% plus, I do not think this can keep up over 2019. If it does, that's a huge surprise to me. I welcome it. I just don't see that happening, okay? So in terms of Apple, this quarter we're in right now, and next quarter I think are the last super impressive quarters. I think next year they can still grow EPS by a double digits, let's say 10% plus, but revenue growth I think it'll be in the single digits throughout 2019 or somewhere around there, okay? Maybe even flattish, to be honest, okay? Which leads me into my next point. 2019 is going to be super lame for Apple, in my opinion. I think it's just going to be a lame year for Apple stock. There's sometimes, it's just a lame year for Apple stock because of their numbers and whatnot. I think that's just how 2019 is going to end up playing out. However, 2020 could be a very exciting year for this company. Why? Because the 2020 iPhones could be the next super cycle of iPhones because it would be the 5G iPhone. We're not 100% sure if the 5G iPhones are coming out, which basically they would be announced in September or October of 2019, okay? But basically all the sales would happen throughout 2020, all right? The 5G iPhone is the next super cycle. When they come out with that, everybody's going to want to jump on that 5G bandwagon because if you know anything about 5G versus 4G, they're really not even comparable, okay? The speeds, everything you can do across the board is unbelievable with the 5G iPhone. So I think 2020 could be a real interesting year if they end up announcing the 5G iPhone at some point, toward the end of 2019. 2020 could get really, really exciting, guys, because we haven't seen a major super cycle on the iPhone since iPhone 6, which was a bigger device. You really have to have something huge in order to get a super cycle going, okay? It can't just be, oh, there's a new cool feature here, new cool feature there. 5G is massive, okay? It's the biggest thing to happen to the iPhone since they literally increased the size of the iPhone. So I think 2020 could set up as a super cycle, if that's even the year they come out with the 5G iPhone, which I think they can, okay? We will not sell regardless if the stock moves up big after earnings. It goes to $1 trillion market cap. We won't sell. Like, this is a long-term hold for us. I hope 2019 is weak for Apple stock. I really do. I hope it's weak. I would love to add more and more shares. I don't own any Apple shares in any of my accounts, okay? My wife is by far her biggest position. I don't own any shares in my accounts. I would love to have a huge position of Apple in 2019. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Apple stock actually moves down on these earnings and just has a weak 2019 so I can buy throughout the year, okay? That's kind of what I'm hoping there. Let's get into Tesla. Tesla, I'll be flat out honest, I don't know if they're going to beat these earnings. This is my first earnings holding this stock, okay? I don't have a good enough idea yet because I'm, just got in the stock that of can they beat numbers or miss numbers? I don't know, okay? So I'm not going to put my head out there and say, yes, they're going to beat or they're going to miss. To be honest, I don't know. This is my first earnings actually holding the stock, okay? But I will go on there and make this statement, okay? I expect revenue growth of over 50% for the next 3 years for this company. Analysts only expect revenue growth over 50% for the remainder of this year we're in, okay? I expect 50% plus for the 2 remaining years after that, meaning 2019 and 2020. Analysts have somewhere around 42% revenue growth for 2019. I expect it to be over 50%, okay? And the following year. Why? 2 reasons. Tesla Energy has to ramp, okay? This is going to ramp, and that's going to kill everybody's numbers out there that has low expectations for Tesla, in my opinion, okay? Model 3 will continue to ramp. They'll be able to produce more and more per week, all right? As word of mouth gets out there, more and more people want to buy Teslas and things like that, okay? As you see more in the streets and you see some of the cool features it has and whatnot, I think, and especially as a $35,000 model actually is available, okay? That's going to be massive for this company, okay? So those are 2 massive things. Also, you're going to have, the Tesla Semi coming, so semis are not going to be cheap, okay? Those are going to be very expensive models, so it's not like they need to move mass amounts of units of the Semi. If they can just move, a few thousand units a year, like that's a massive, massive number for the company, because those are going to be very highly priced. Also in 2020, the Roadster's coming. We could have the Model Y coming, which is probably the biggest thing other than Model 3 that this company has going forward. Model 3 and Tesla, the energy products are huge, but Model Y, the mass SUV, Guys, that is going to be off the charts, okay? Because there are a lot of people like myself that would love to have a Tesla SUV, but at the same time, we don't want to pay $100,000 plus, which if we got the Tesla Model X, it'd be $100,000 plus. In my opinion, I don't feel like spending $100,000 plus on an SUV, okay? I'm fine with spending $40,000, $50,000, maybe even $60,000 on an SUV. I'm not spending $100,000 plus. So the Model Y can be their answer for customers like myself who want a nice SUV that's electric, but don't want to spend $100,000 plus like, you know, the Tesla Model X is, okay? So the stock has a lot of catalysts going forward over the next few years, okay? I hope it moves up. The reason being is honestly, I don't want to buy more shares. This is my spec stock that I'm holding for the next 5-10 years. I'm not buying more shares of this stock. A rule I learned, okay, this is a secret I'm going to let you know right now that no one knows, okay? When I first bought GoPro shares, I bought that as a spec stock. It was a very small position of mine, and then it dropped, and I started building a bigger position until it was also my biggest position in my portfolio, okay? That was stupid. You should never turn a spec stock into a major investment. I refuse to do that with Tesla regardless of how much it drops, okay? I don't care if it goes down to $200. I don't care if it goes down to $150 a share. I'm not adding more shares to stock regardless, okay? It's a spec stock, and I learned my lesson with GoPro, okay? So I hope it moves up. That would be awesome because, you know, like I said, I'm not buying any more shares. I hope it moves up. The interesting thing is there's a lot of Facebook money out there right now, okay? A lot of investment funds, a lot of high growth investors have sold off of Facebook. Where's that money gonna go? We know it's not going in Netflix stock, okay? Netflix is down another 5% plus today, so we know all that growth money that's coming from Facebook, it's not going into Netflix stock. So we have all this growth money for you know, that people that have sold off shares, investment fund managers that are led the high growth companies, those companies growing revenues at 40% plus clip. Where's that money gonna wanna flow, okay? There's a good chance it could flow to Tesla. Why? Because this is a company that has a massive revenue increase coming over the future years. Even if they don't hit my number, the analysts are still expecting this company to grow 42% plus next year, okay? So where's that Facebook money gonna go? Where's that Facebook money gonna go? A lot of it could flood in Tesla. We're just gonna have to see, okay? I will not sell regardless of what Tesla shares do. I don't care if it went to $500 a share, I wouldn't sell, okay? That's just where I'm at with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in that comment section if you're planning on buying Apple stock or Tesla stock. I would love to hear from you guys. If you hold either of those stocks, what are your expectations for these earnings? I would love to hear from you guys in that comment section. As always, make sure you follow me on Instagram if you have not already. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.